Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Wednesday the 12th of January 2022. Today's Millwall news, we have an update from the we have a new play area for the Junior Lions, we have a new date for the Preston North End game, and we have Jón Daði Böðvarsson scoring a goal. Wow. So let's start off with Steve Kavanagh. He's upset a few Millwall fans with some of the statements he's made today. This is a statement that he released. He releases a statement every month, so the thing he's been doing now. And let's just jump into it. This is from millwallfc.co.uk if you want to check it out yourself. As you can see at the top left hand corner, it has had a ton of views. This is a lot of views for Millwall website, 12,479 so far. So let's start reading it. I would like to start by wishing supporters throughout the country and across the world a very happy new year. I hope you all enjoyed the festive period and that any impact on COVID on your health and plans was not too severe. The beginning of any year brings a fresh wave of optimism, eagerness and determination, and this one is no different. As a team of staff, we are incredibly committed to being the best we can be for the supporters, and we look forward to developing different plans and initiatives which we hope can enhance the relationships and improve the matchday experience in the months ahead. And it's along those lines where I'd like to start this column. There is a lot to cover, and regrettably, much of the latter content is negative, but I'd like to begin by covering some positive updates. It will be broken down into headers to make everything more digestible and easy to follow for you morons. Zampa's Family Stand. Those of you who watched Saturday's game from Zampa's Family Stand will have noticed and hopefully enjoyed a complete refurbishment of the area. It was previously award-winning but needed some care and attention, and we're delighted with how it has turned out. There is now a jungle theme throughout, and we've also now built a sensory room, which is a significant enhancement as a club in terms of accessibility of young supporters. More info on that will follow later in the week. You can view a gallery of images by clicking here, and we'll get to that next, but we'll carry on reading first. Ticket office phone number change. I am pleased to confirm that from today we have removed the premium rate number needed to call the ticket office. Please do not attempt to call this number moving forward, as you may still be charged. The new number to contact is 020 7231 9999, which is chargeable only at your local rate. We are busy updating all our website communications and digital print collateral to reflect this change, but please do take a note of the new number so as to ensure nobody is charged beyond what they need to be. Are they having a laugh at that? 999. 999. That's a bit on the nose, isn't it? Recast. Hopefully you have noticed that we've recently joined the video content platform Recast, which allows the club to generate revenue without any additional outlay from supporters. You can generate cast credits, what you need to watch videos, by joining up, watching adverts or sharing content. You do not need to directly pay for cast credits if you don't want to, which is a key point. We were able to stream this week's under-23 match on a platform which was watched by several hundred people. Many more have already joined the platform and are engaging with our video content. Recast is a different service to iFollow, and no video will ever be uploaded to the former, which is not also available for free on the latter, just at a later date. In this COVID era, and as is plainly evident, following the release of our accounts, we need to explore as many ways of generating revenue as we can, and Recast is a great way of doing so without hurting fans in the pocket. You can find out more by clicking here, or just watch some of my previous videos where I mention it. EFL Digital Exit. This is a big one. For many years, the club has been part of the EFL Digital Agreement, which means the official website and video commentary subscription service iFollow is hosted and managed by the EFL and associated partners. We have now started the process of exiting from the agreement, and so later this year, most likely in the summer, we will be launching a brand new official website and supporting video and audio content and streaming platform, plus a new mobile app. This is seen as a substantial step forward in our digital offering for supporters, which we hope will be well received by fans. Now, the iFollow has its problems. Quite often the commentary goes down, most commonly at away grounds, which you would think you would put that on the commentators not knowing how to use the system that's at the ground that they're at, because it seems to be mainly at away grounds that the thing messes up. Another thing mentioned was the commentary not being in sync with the picture, so the commentators would tell you what's about to happen 30 seconds before it does, so that was not good. But now they're saying a new mobile app. Is that the Recast app, or is it going to be powered by Recast app? So, because why would you join Recast if you're going to have your own app? So maybe it will be a Millwall app branded, but it will run through the Recast system and use that system there. Maybe that is why we've just joined Recast. Maybe it's a similar situation to the players, where when you're 6 months away from your contract ending, you can explore other options. So that's why, if our contract with iFollow is finishing in the summer, they've just signed up for Recast in January, because they need to get something sorted before the summer. So that's what that might be. And I told you as well, I told you in yesterday's video, I think, that they did finally put new adverts on there that you could watch and earn cast credits. And I said to you, if you're going to do it, join up, watch these adverts, and it seems that if they do it every week, if you get on it now, watch the adverts as they come out every week, by the summer, when we put our friendlies on there live, you probably should have enough credits to watch them all for gratis, for free. Now it seems, if they're going to be using the Recast app to stream every single game that we have, or either audibly or visually, I don't know, I imagine the rules will still be the same in terms of midweek games, whatever it is. Maybe that's just an iFollow rule. Maybe if we're outside of iFollow, they can stream any game they want. Now it has to fall within the law regarding the blackout of football between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. But why could we not? So I think that is just a EFL iFollow rule. Maybe it's not, maybe it is, but we shall see. So moving on, Crystal Palace match. Oh no, here we go. The atmosphere generated by fans during last weekend's big FA Cup tie against Crystal Palace was nothing short of extraordinary. At so many points during the match, the noise was deafening and unquestionably contributed enormously to a very good performance from the team. Unfortunately, a couple of moments of individual brilliance won them the game, but there is no doubt the display deserved more, which would have been just reward for your backing throughout. Away from matters on the pitch, COVID checks seemed to work well, and a very large percentage of the crowd followed advice on arriving early, which was a huge contributory factor to such operational successes. Thank you for your assistance, and please keep that up to help us manage these government regulations while they are in place. More about that later. While the absolute majority of supporters behaved impeccably and did nothing other than provide unwavering backing of their team, there were a small group of people who regrettably and depressingly overstepped the mark. Countless missiles were thrown onto the pitch, one of which, as we all saw, struck a Palace player. There were 3 separate incidents of individual discriminatory abuse, unsavoury chanting, a physical assault of a steward, numerous reports of drug taking in toilets, and a pitch incursion. It is with tremendous regret that I am having to communicate in such a way, but this is all an unfortunate and uncomfortable truth which, as a club and as a fan base, we must address. Don't be a tosser. If one of the missiles thrown onto the pitch caused any sort of injury to a player or member of staff, then the consequences will be beyond anything the club or supporters have experienced in recent history. I cannot stress that enough. Is he talking about what do they call him? Fan ban behind closed doors, which you don't draw an eye follow, but we basically did a whole season and a half of that. But back in the day, they used to do that, and it used to upset everyone because they didn't have the TV. So what could they do? They just waited until the result was announced in the papers, or you just heard a rumour someone told you down the pub. Oh, Millwall won today. Did you go to the game? Oh no, the fans got banned. But I know someone who works there, and they told me. So you could do that. But I imagine if they banned the fans from a game, then you would have the live radio. You would have highlights. So it's not the same, but and it would just wouldn't be fair on the season ticket holders because that was a cup game, and a lot of the people that went to the cup game are not season ticket holders. Now you could argue they're probably friends of season ticket holders because the season ticket holders did have a chance to buy extra tickets. But the severity of this threat is very real, and it is with that in mind that we are launching a new "Don't Be a Tosser" campaign, which we hope will contribute to the prevention of such incidents in the future. A campaign like this is clearly not enough on its own, however, and in certain areas of the ground, starting this Saturday in the game against Forest, we have no choice but to start decanting all bottles into plastic cups. This operational change will begin in the docker stand, apart from Zampa's family stand, and in our entire hospitality area, but in the weeks ahead of this may well widen into other areas of the stadium. It is essential that staff having to carry out this process are respected, as it is not their choice, and while it was a difficult decision, the club simply has no other option. Any abuse towards them, given they are only carrying out instruction, will be grossly inappropriate and will not be accepted. Bringing bottles into the stadium has not been allowed for some time, which is a measure respected and followed by almost everyone. This is an unavoidable extension of that policy, which again is designed to protect the health and safety of all in attendance, the reputation of the club, and therefore the interests of the majority of supporters. Discriminatory abuse. The club's stance on discriminatory abuse of any form could not be clearer. There is zero tolerance, and any supporter found guilty will be banned from this club for life. Individuals with such unpalatable views are not welcome at Millwall Football Club. There was one arrest for such abuse before kick-off on Saturday, and the Metropolitan Police are dealing with 2 additional reports from later in the game. The 2 supporters in question have been identified by our CCTV system, and we will of course assist the police with their investigations. The club become aware of 2 of these 3 incidents following reports from other supporters, which serves to reinforce the very obvious fact that such behaviour is completely disgraceful and unwelcome at Millwall. There was also chanting towards a Crystal Palace player, which contributed quite understandably to widespread negative media coverage following the game. Chants, including the terminology used, are entirely unacceptable and cannot be tolerated. Again, such events could lead not to just punishment for the club, but also for the supporters by way of potential block or stand closures or worse. Nobody wants that, and so that should be at the forefront of minds. Through the work of the club's Equality Steering Committee, we will continue to support victims and work tirelessly to eradicate discriminatory behaviour for good, and the assistance and support of fans is absolutely imperative to that objective. Booing the knee. We have had extensive dialogue with different groups of fans over many months about the impact that booing the opposition taking the knee is having throughout the club. The way in which fans back all our anti-discrimination initiatives is clear for all to see. That is greatly appreciated by all at the club. Clearly the debate around taking a knee is a complex one, but what is inarguable is that the booing is causing extensive damage in so many different ways. I've lost count of the amount of supporters who have contacted me or other staff to say they can no longer attend while the booing is going on, and we also have employees throughout the club, academy and community trust who feel understandably very upset and angry both by it and subsequent damage it is doing. As our campaign asks, I urge those booing to think twice. Or you could ask those who feel upset about it to look into what is actually happening regards Black Lives Matter being an far left radical Marxist institution set about the destruction of Western civilization. Maybe you could educate them. Maybe you could think twice about that. Abuse of staff. This season has seen a worrying rise in verbal and at times physical abuse towards staff, particularly stewards. They are employed to help ensure the health and safety of all supporters, and they do not deserve to be the victim of any sort of abuse. On Saturday, one was assaulted, which led to a couple of arrests, and clearly this type of incident and behaviour is absolutely deplorable. It is grossly unfair and entirely unjustifiable to treat staff in such a way. Please remember that on match days, we are all part of the Millwall family. Drug taking. An issue being experienced by clubs up and down the country is that of drugs possession and use, and unfortunately it is also prevalent at the Den on match days. When we surveyed supporters back in January of last year, the reason most commonly cited as to why fans do not enjoy their match day experience as much as they could, or why they could no longer attend, is because of drug taking and smoking in the toilets. We received multiple reports of it again on Saturday, but it is not a behaviour which is exclusive to the biggest games. With this in mind, I can confirm that we will now be having drug detecting dogs at matches, and supporters found in possession will of course be subject to police investigation and a long club ban. Dogs will also be present at the way end to detect pyrotechnics, which should also contribute to minimising the type of behaviour witnessed from visiting supporters on Saturday. Didn't Sadiq Khan just say he wants to decriminalise drug possession? He basically just said, well, I think he said marijuana, and everyone else basically said, you're fucking crazy, you can't do that. Boris Johnson, everyone said, Sadiq Khan, you can't do that. And I think the Met Police basically, possession of marijuana has basically been downgraded to, they made it a C category drug. So basically if they catch you with it, they'll take it off of you and take your name down, but they're not going to arrest you and throw you up for it anymore, throw you in jail for it anymore. So I don't think that's but the smoking in the toilets, it baffles me. You go down to the game, and this is in the West Upper. I go to game when I go to the game. I'm in the West Upper mostly. Both sides. You go to a game. You go into the toilets before the game. There's a couple of people in there smoking. You go into the toilets half time. Yeah, all right. I piss a lot. Yeah, leave me alone. You go into the toilets half time. Same people in there pissing, smoking. And then you go at the end of the game and they're basically still there. Anytime the game is on, when you go in there, there's literally the same people. They spend the entire game in the toilet smoking. What the fuck are you paying for? For a private smoking club? This literally makes no fucking sense to me. I do not understand why you do this. This is degenerate fucking behaviour. Why would you pay to go into a building to then hide in the toilet and smoke for 90 minutes? That baffles me. I don't understand why you do that. Okay, if you're an addict and you go to watch the game, you sit in a stand and you're getting a craving, then you run down to the toilet, quickly have a little puff and then run back up into the stands, I would understand that. But the people that sit in the toilet all game long smoking, what the fuck is going on in your heads that you do that? I really don't get that. I really don't get that. It's fucking annoying and it's fucking sad and weird. Summary. There is often a perception that issues such as those outlined above are caused by those who only attend the biggest of matches. We need to bring this view to an end, particularly so because of two of those under investigation following incidents on Saturday are season ticket holders. The majority of crowd was singing the Chelsea Rent Boy song. You're going to ban every one of them, you won't have any fans left. So, what you want to do, mate? The damage done to the club is caused by events like this we saw on Saturday is very real. And ultimately, we all care immensely for Millwall. Nobody wants to see our name or indeed the reputation of fans tarnished. I would like to finish by stressing once again that the vast majority of supporters at the Den, and those who follow us up and down the country, are impeccably behaved and provide nothing other than exemplary and enviable backing of their team. It is with the interests of those supporters at heart that I am coming out and being so open and transparent about the problems we are experiencing so as to bring them to an end. Thank you for your understanding, support and cooperation, Steve. And this is the part where he walks away, steps back, and basically the whole of Millwall internet has exploded. And you can tell what a lot of people think of this. They're not happy. They think this is an absolute joke. And what I would say is, just because the press say something is, doesn't mean it is. When the Millwall fans were chanting at Conor Gallagher, "You are just a Chelsea rent boy," and then they said, "Oh, that's homophobic." How is that homophobic? It's not an attack on gay people. It's an attack on someone who is a prostitute, because that is in some places still considered a stigma. We're not all supporters only fans, and we don't think it's normal to sell pictures of your arsehole on the internet. So we stigmatise someone by saying they are a prostitute. It is an insult. We are insulting them. It is not an anti-gay slur to say someone is a rent boy. And it's not a slur to say someone is a prostitute. It's an insult. It's not homophobic, it's just an insult. Unless he is gay, then maybe you could say that he is, but I don't know if he is, and I probably don't think we would bring it up. Millwall fans would bring it up if he was gay. But there you go. So, that seems a bit long-winded and insulting and not the best of things to be pushing out there. Now we move on to the bit at the beginning of that statement. Zampa's family stand. Let's have a look at the pictures that they put out. A new space for young lions. Millwall Football Club is proud to introduce the brand new Zampa and Bellina's Lions Lounge in Zampa's family stand. The area features an arts and crafts station, an air hockey table, and a spacious lounge for young supporters to interact before a big match. Shona Grove, supporters liaison officer at the Den, said, "We are delighted to provide a space for young supporters to interact and have fun before watching our games. We're a family orientated club and really hope this latest addition to our family stand improves supporters' matchday experience. The lounge will officially open on Saturday 15th of January ahead of the fixture against Nottingham Forest." And you can see here, so they've got an arts and crafts area. Arts and crafts, I know That's what it means. Face painting station. Games area. What's that there? They got the hair hockey and what do they call it? The basketball thing. I don't know. What's that on the board there? What's that on the A board? I don't know. Games something board. Leaderboard. Oh, games leaderboard. Zampa and Ballooner's Lions Lounge, as Steve Kavanagh pointed out, made to look like a jungle. Let me just point at this little thing out. Lions don't live in the jungle. Lions live on the savanna grasslands of Africa. Lions don't live in jungles. Tigers do. Jaguars do. Lions do not. But it does look good anyway, doesn't it? Sponsored by Husky Chocolate. Oh, did they pay for it? They did. Round of applause for Husky Chocolate. Well done. There you go. They got they've even done look at that for Lions feeding zone. Lions feeding zone there. That's where they get the I wonder if they could actually have live animals there, like a petting zoo thing. I don't know if they could. That can't be messed up, but that would be good. I know they've got the stuffed toys there. Look what they got here. Oh no, is this racist? They got monkeys hanging from the ceiling. Is that a snake as well? I mean, kids would shit themselves if they saw that snake up there. It doesn't look that realistic, but still. And you got your wooden pallets there. So there you go. Oh look, safe darts board, because we don't want any real darts in case they end up on the pitch, embedded in an opposition player's head. Lion, that's the lion from the Lion King, isn't it? That looks good. So there you go. Isn't that nice? Some improvements being made to the situation. Anyway, moving on now. New date for Preston. So the Preston North End game, which was due to take place on the 18th of December, got postponed because Millwall players got that nasty COVID. They have a date for it. Millwall Sky Bet Championship fixture against Preston North End has been rescheduled for Tuesday, the 1st of February. Kick-off 7:45 p.m. The match was originally meant to take place on Saturday the 18th of December, but was postponed due to positive COVID-19 cases. Tickets for the game will go on sale in due course, while tickets already purchased for the original fixture will be valid for the rearranged date. Now, that is very apt. Does that mean something or does that mean nothing? Now, it might mean that... Now, the Palace game was the first game that Millwall had where they had the COVID restrictions in place. Now, it seems that kind of worked out well for everyone, with everyone turning up early. Now, can you turn up that early for a game at 7:45? Maybe that won't be a case, but maybe it won't be a problem for this Preston North End game. Maybe they know something that we don't know. Maybe they expect that the things will be removed. So let's have a look. We are in Plan B. When will Plan B rules end? This is from inews.co.uk. The PM has confirmed that the restrictions will be reviewed again on the 26th of January, meaning they will last for 3 more weeks. The rules, the Plan B rules, expire on that date, but they can be extended. But any extension will have to be voted through in the House of Commons. So there you go. So the 26th is Wednesday, and I imagine so they wouldn't probably take the decision before then, and they would have to probably have the vote either before that date or on that date. I imagine if it was that bad and they wanted to extend it, they would have to let everyone know, give them a week's notice. So I imagine they would probably have the vote before that day, probably at least 5 days before, maybe the Friday the 21st, maybe Monday the 24th, and then have another vote and say, okay, from the 27th, the rules are blah, blah, blah. So what does he say? In response to the latest data, the Cabinet agreed this morning that we should stick with Plan B for another 3 weeks, with a further review before the Regulations expire on 26th of January. Yeah, look what I said. They're going to review it before. I know some might therefore ask whether this means we can now do away with measures altogether, but I'm sorry to report that blah 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 blah. Okay, so there you go. So 26th of January, these Plan B rules, which are about needing a vaccine passport to get into Millwall, or a negative test. We're having to wear a mask as you go in and up to the stand, all that stuff. That could be finishing on 26th of January. So that means the West Brom game on the 29th could be back to normal, no rules. Could be. And that will mean then, of course, that the Preston game on the 1st, on the Tuesday after that game, will be under no rules as well, which is good. Not only that, but our game on the 5th of February, which is the midweek, the Saturday after this game, after this rearranged Preston game, our game against QPR has been cancelled, which I told you about in the video a couple of days ago, because QPR are still in the cup. So that we've got a free Saturday to recover after this game. So this is a very good placement for a rearranged game to take place. Very, very good. So moving on now to this. Iceland's 1, Uganda 1. Cardew on target, international build-up. Why am I showing you this? This is from kawowo.com. That's kawowo.com. It's an African website about sports, I believe. And I couldn't believe this when I saw this today. Jón Daði Böðvarsson scored a goal. Uganda Cranes levelled the matters through Henry Patrick Kadew's penalty on the half-hour mark to neutralise Jón Daði Böðvarsson's opener. We're playing our season here, and Jón Daði Böðvarsson's waltzed off to Turkey to play for Iceland. Why are Iceland organising games in the middle of our season? Don't they know that we need our players like Jón Daði Böðvarsson? Yeah, apparently. So, Titanic Deluxe Belek Football Centre in Belek, Turkey. There was a game today, and it was a 1-1 draw between Iceland and Uganda. Jón Daði Böðvarsson gave Iceland the lead early in 6 minutes thanks to a great header off a delivery by Viljar Harrionsson. So he headed it in, nice. And then Uganda levelled for a penalty. And this was the first ever meeting for the two countries in international football. And so Uganda Cranes will now face Botswana, whoever they are, exactly, on Saturday the 15th of January 2022. And on the same day, Iceland will play South Korea in yet another international build-up game. So Iceland are out here playing international games in the middle of our season. How'd you like that? What's that all about? Now, is that good for us? Maybe if Jón Daði Böðvarsson gets out there, he might get a move somewhere else. He might get picked up. He's scored a goal. I imagine he impressed someone. Maybe. And he might be on the move. Now, of course, Iceland, of course, play Summer League. They don't. All of the players who are based in Iceland or in Sweden and Norway, I believe, some of it's probably Finland as well, are not currently playing match football for their clubs because their season is done. They cannot play in the winter because their winters are fierce. But anyway, they called up Jón Daði Böðvarsson, and he's out there playing for him, and no one bothered to tell us. So there you go. And he scored. Just show you this. He played 60 minutes. This is from livescore.com. Here's the teams. Apparently they played 4-3-3. And he played where we are. Yeah, here. He played 60 minutes. He got subbed for Sven Aron Gudjonsson. So there you go. Not bad. Not bad. But he'll be playing South Korea on Saturday. So while Millwall are hard working against Nottingham Forest, trying to win under the impending threat of losing Jed Wallace to the team that we're playing against, he will be playing for South Korea in a Turkish footballing result. So there you go. It is what it is, isn't it? Moving on now to this. I told you about this yesterday, and surprisingly, the club have decided to make like a story out of it on the official sites. This is from millfc.co.uk. Dan Moss returns from Yeovil Town. End of loan spell for right back. Millwall under-23's right back Dan Moss has returned to the Den from a loan spell at Yeovil Town. Moss excelled in the green and white of the Glovers, becoming a fan favourite as the Somerset outfit reached the third round of the Emirates FA Cup and moved to the cusp of the Vanarama National playoff spots. The defender will now rejoin the Lions under-23 setup, which is quite weird, and this has 1,258 views. For a story about an under-23 player, that's quite a lot. So what's happening here? Apparently, the people at Yeovil Town, the manager, I think, expected him to move from Yeovil and go out back on loan to a team higher in the league, presumably League Two. Well, he didn't say that, but he kind of intimated that. But they're saying here that he's coming back to join the under-23s. Now, is he coming back to deputise for Danny McNamara? Some weird happenings going on with Danny McNamara, to be honest with you. Is he playing injured? I don't know. Maybe he is, because ahead of the Crystal Palace game, they said, I think Gatter said he might be an injury down. And the next day, Danny McNamara basically doing a press thing for the official site saying how much he's looking forward to the Crystal Palace game. So, I thought you were injured, mate, because the manager said you might be injured. So that's kind of weird, isn't it? But we all know there's some kind of rumours that Gary Rout's got a problem with Danny McNamara. It's a problem with Conor Mahoney, other players and whatnot. But Danny McNamara was our best player against Crystal Palace, so and he's been our probably not into our best player, but our most player who's trying the hardest in a number of our games this season, especially when we're up against it and not doing that well. Him and Billy Mitchell putting the effort in, because it seems to matter more to them, and Mill fans have noticed this, and it's very much appreciated. So is Dan Moss coming back to deputise for Danny McNamara? Maybe compete with Danny McNamara, which probably not going to be fair to Dan Moss. But if Dan Moss comes in and plays better than Danny McNamara, which is a high bar to reach, what are you going to do? It is what it is, but if he can do that, then I'm sure Gary would be pleased, because he does seem to have some kind of problem with Danny McNamara. But there you go. This is a weird one. We shall see. We shall see if he goes back out on loan, or if he stays with us and is on the bench for the first team, or maybe he's come back to the under-23s to maybe try out some other positions. Maybe he's going to play in midfield. I think they said they got problems in midfield. I think they said during the COVID thing, I think Rout said they were not one fit midfielder in the whole club, including under 23s. So Sean O'Brien wasn't involved in the under 23s game the other day, so maybe he's injured. So maybe they're going to try him out in the middle as like a DMC. Maybe we shall see. It's all coming together. And on that note, thank you for watching. Goodbye.